What's up fellas, Panda here, and finally it is being made the Potemkin guide. Now the main reason why this has constantly been put off is because how many times did Potemkin get changed? Literally when I was about to be done with the non-Kara version, they brought back Kara, so I just brought back the Kara version of my guide and had to rework it. But besides that, we're finally here to teach. If you guys really enjoyed the guide, be sure to like and subscribe. That's the main thing I want to see. I want to see how interested people are. We'll start off by telling you why you want to play Pot. So the main reason why you want to learn Potemkin is that he is the main core big body grappler of Strive. If you like grappling and you like the big body playstyle, for example Zangief, Tezok, Hugo, this is the playstyle for you. This is honestly the character for you. There's nothing else like that. In terms of playing an intimidating force, Potemkin is that thing to be reckoned with. When you get your game plan started, he genuinely is that threat when you play him. His damage is pure dopamine when you land any form of hit or any form of command grab. The Potemkin Buster is definitely a satisfying command grab to land. He's one of the coolest modern day grapplers if I'm honest, as well as the command grab being extremely satisfying to land. He also has very fun execution with his Kara inputs and his Hammerfall Breaks. You get this down, you'll become a combo master, and genuinely when it comes to his pressure, it can be very suffocating for the opponent to deal with. So many staggering options, and then you eventually hit them with their armor to catch them out for trying to call you out for staggering. There's a lot of reasons to play this character, but I'm going to tell you some things that you've got to practice before hopping into them. So when it comes to things to practice, I recommend getting used to charged inputs. For example, Hammerfall Break is going to be an absolute key necessity to all of your offense and knockdown pressure. So I recommend really learning that and understanding how to use Hammerfall Breaks. As soon as you get that down, you'll have really good OK, you'll have really good pressure, and you can go for some really fake setups, but you can go for some funny ones as well. Another thing that is worth learning is Kara's. Kara's, I wouldn't say became redundant with the Season 4 patch, but I would say that it became less and less likely that you need to use it. But there's a couple that I think you should learn as they're extremely important for your games. When it comes to Kara's, there's 3 that I absolutely recommend learning, as they have different mindsets and different skills to them, but all of them are really good. The first one to learn is Potemkin Buster. Being able to carry this after a walk forward is incredible in terms of power. Absolutely worth learning. You essentially get a command grab that reaches from about from 1/3 space, and it's really worth learning because of that. The other character that's worth learning is Garuda, simply because you'll be right next to the opponent during pressure, and because it's a projectile now, when you get a knockdown into a Garuda, and you did it with a Kara, you're kissing them. You're that close. You're literally kissing the opponent. You're that close to them. The other one worth learning is Patriarch Megafist, because Patriarch Megafist became a pressure tool now. The point being, this is actually like a fuzzy setup tool that you can go for a call out, jump, and keep pressure. So these are the 3 mains that I would learn in terms of carrying. Now, you're probably wondering, how can I go about learning my Karas? Here's a training regimen that you can do before we even get into the rest of this guide to learn your Karas, and that is essentially doing the input slowly, building up to it, and then repetition. So the first one I would learn, we call Kara Garuda, Patriarch Megafist. First circle back into 6k, right? We do this so you build up the muscle memory of doing these types of inputs. Back, core circle back, 6k, core circle back, 6k, core circle back, 6k. You're gonna keep doing that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna press the button that you want to press. So for example, Patriarch Megafist, you want to press punch. So after core circle back 6k, you press punch 1 frame later. Well, you have a 2-frame window, but you want to be as quick as you possibly can. So you kind of want to do it kind of like you get this rhythm down, right? So that's why I'm telling you, get used to core circle back 6k, core circle back 6k, because the core circle back doesn't matter that much. You can buffer that as long as you really want to, but it's that forward 6k and punch you have to get down between those frame gaps. So honestly, that's what you're doing. Core circle back 6k, punch, but that punch has to come out like quick as hell. Same with Pot Buster, same with Garuda. You want to practice that until you can do it 10 times in a row at least once, because that'll tell you you'll be consistent, and when you get it in a match, you will genuinely get it every time. So besides the nerdy stuff worth practicing, for example your execution, It's time to get into your neutral mindset with Potemkin, and I think this is worth knowing, that way you know what you're going for when you're playing in neutral, and this is kind of what I try to go for as well. When playing Potemkin in neutral, you want to aim to be patient. Taking space is important in any fighting game. As Potemkin, this is more so. Aim to take space when you can and preserve your meter for get-ins. That's kind of the main goal with Potemkin. You're doing a lot of denial pushback with your big normals. As people are trying to approach you, you use your buttons for denial. And then when you want to make your approach, and you haven't been lucky so far with your pokes, that's where your meter comes in. When it comes to Potemkin's neutral pokes, he certainly has the stopping power for it. So to get it started, I'll talk about my favourite poke, which is Far Slash. Far Slash. This poke has an upwards hitbox that has a pretty good disjoint to it. You want to use this as a poke as it denies the air spaces above Potemkin. You also want to confirm this into 5H every time you get an aerial hit for a hard knockdown. This is also a good preemptive poke for people running up to you. However, this poke will lose to run up 6p and run up 2ks. They will whiff punish it every time. So use this as a reaction to approaches to do with the sky or to do with run ups. As soon as they start threatening 6p, that's when your next move will come in. 2D is a very good poke. Very good poke because it's low hitting, has good recovery, so it's kind of hard to whiff punish for some characters, except Giovanna. And it's really good at denying run-ins. If the opponent goes for run-up 6p like I was saying a moment ago, 2D is the way to go, or 5k as well. On counter hit, you can get a hard knockdown with Hammerfall, so if you do get those meaty counter hits, be sure Hammerfall for your knockdown. Be sure to be holding down back as you press 2D, because you're playing a charged input character. You want to be able to do Hammerfall when you need it, and after 2D, you're definitely doing Hammerfall every time, simply for the break or simply for the counter hit confirm. So keep your eyes out for that, keep your eyes out for that. Be sure to hold down back when pressing 2B. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and then you'll get your special cancel. Now this poke does lose to a really good preemptive jump in, and you will have to hold the hit for that. But if you place it well enough, this will be a really good stopping move when it comes to denying run-ups. And it's very helpful for those matchups. It's very helpful against someone like Giovanna if you place it well enough. Or it's really well put against characters like Testament trying to do their 6p as a denial in your neutral. It's definitely worth learning to use this properly. Heavy Slash. Heavy Slash is a massive committal button. Its hitbox is great, don't get me wrong. Massive hitbox, massive disjoint. However, the recovery on it is certainly the problem. So if you whip this one, you're going to get hit for it. But where does this stand out? Because it's a great counter hit poke. On counter hit, this move is able to deal a ton of damage. The damage can be caught by doing 5H into Hammerfall for an easy knockdown and at least 30% on some characters. But where it really stands out is if you have another bar meter, as you can go for Giganter Kai. I will talk about that later in the combo section. If you want to know your combo for it, you can skip to it now, but we're going to go into our next poke, which is 2S. 2S is a good poke that covers a good bit of space. It even hits people that are trying to low profile you, but not all of them. You will still lose the 6p, but you will catch some 2ks and you will catch a fast crawl, for example. It also covers a decent bit of airspace as well, so if you use this well enough against instant air dashers, you can use 2S as the anti-air counter hit and poke. And you can get a combo with this. If it's a counter hit, you do 2S, 2S into 5H. But be sure to delay the second 2H and delay the 5H and do Hammerfall Break for your Oki. But the main reason why we use this poke is because it's another great counter hit poke like 5H, except the meterless reward is 10 times better. You get a counter hit with 2S, you can do Hammerfall Break Potemkin Buster, leading to about 40% damage on your average character, meaning this is a great counter hit poke. If you're able to land this well, trying to get a massive counter hit poke on someone like Sin, 2S really stands out as a great poke against those characters. But yeah, it's absolutely dopamine, but its weaknesses is that you can do a super jump to jump over with the air dash and actually hit Potemkin, or you can whiff punish it, because the recovery may be good on block, not good on whiff. To go over one of your last main neutral tools, you have Flick. The main reason for this is that on Season 4 it became a massive neutral poke, However, the main weakness of it now is that they did add a hurt box to the frontal part of Potemkin, meaning it's more than likely that you get a good counter hit on him before he pops the flick. But besides that, the main reason why we use this is because the disjoint is massive. We're talking a large portion of the screen can be caught with flick. And it's only -4 on block, meaning it's kinda hard to whiff punish for certain characters. But if you're really looking out for it, any character can whiff punish this too. Using the disjoint, you can deny some run-ups, and you can also deny some low jumps, or for example, instant air dashers. And the fact that the counter hit gives you a hard knockdown is very, very good. You see counter, you be sure Hammerfall Break, take your knockdown. And if you land a charged flick, for example, you're holding this in neutral, the opponent goes to disrespect you, and then you let it rip. That is a hard knockdown that you can take advantage of. So be sure to do that. But the main reason why we use flick as well isn't just for the fact that it's a poke, but because it denies projectiles. You now send out a projectile that's 100 times better than base game. Main reason for this is that it gives hard knockdown. Potemkin has some strike and throw involved on the recovery after flicking the projectile, so the opponent can't punish you after the projectile has been sent out, which is great because that's something that you could do before. And when it's out, it hits twice and leads to a hard knockdown. Yes, hard knockdown on a projectile is massive. I don't think people realize that. So if you're able to land this, and you're able to reflect the projectile, take your pressure, and if you land a hit, take your knockdown and run your offense from there. And we'll be talking about offense later, so don't worry about it. The other great thing about flick is that a lot of things in this game became really flickable, and I mean a ton of things. The only thing that really isn't flickable is misfire, but if it's some type of projectile that you see, besides misfire, flick that. Here we get into our next neutral buttons, and these are worth using despite the fact of their glaring weakness. The punches! Punches, for example 5p and 2p, don't really cover a ton of space, but they're very quick and hard to whiff punish. You want to use this in matchups where the opponent has great whiff punish on your recoveries. So for example, Giovanna, like mentioned before, she does really well into pot if you don't use these buttons. Chip does really well if you don't use these buttons. Use your 5p and 2ps. They're really good in neutral for these types of matchups. The main reason why is that they have great recovery. 2p covers the ground, so if people are trying to do the run-up 6p method, 2p is a very, very low committal poke that you can use. Not a massive reward on these pokes, but again, having stopping power is the main point that I'm trying to tell you when you're playing neutral, and that's what you're going to use these pokes for. 5p is a great anti-air reward where you're able to slap them out of the sky, do 2s into 5h or 2s into Heat Knuckle for a hard knockdown. So if you need a quick anti-air, 5p will cover you. If you need a quick ground stopple, 2p will cover you. And if you just need a mash out, 5p will cover you. Yeah, we use these pokes because they're not committal like 2D and that, and they're not really committal like a far slash, but they're very quick and cover the spaces that you need. So keep that in mind when using the punches and bunches. Up next is the anti-airs. This is a massive part of your neutral. Potemkin has some great anti-airs for denying the opponent in the sky. First one to start with is 6p. This is a very simple one to start with without a doubt. 6p is really good for quick reactions to jump in. So for example, the opponent does an instant air dash JH. It's very easy, it's very quick to knock them out the sky with a great 6p. And then the other thing about 6p is that you can do 6p into Heat Knuckle for a solid chunk of damage. We're talking about a solid chunk of change, like 30% of damage on average characters. Thank your character's about 25. So, you know, you get 6p through Heat Knuckle for damage, and if you land the counter hit and you need a hard knockdown, I recommend doing 6p into Garuda. This is something that you can hit confirm on an anti-air counter hit, and it's something that I like to do personally. Another thing I like to do is on normal hit 6p is set up a Garuda anyway. So yeah, sometimes I just take Oki, I'll be honest. Sometimes I just go like, this is fake Oki, I'm gonna take Monkey. As mentioned before, another great anti-air is far slash for denying those aerial spaces. Your counter hit reward is also very good, be sure to use that. The next one is Heat Knuckle. Now you can't carry it anymore, so it doesn't have the reach that it does, but for a great anti-air read, this does a ton of damage, and the reward that you get on block is also really good. On hit, you're able to deal a solid 30% damage to them, which is very nice. But on block, it leads to a Buster opportunity. Why is this? And that's because the opponent is in the guard crush state, meaning that it's a 50-50 for their life. So you can go close slash or you can go pop buster. It's up to you, honestly. But yeah, use this as the opponent tries to jump out the corner, because that's where the rewards really matter in my mind. Besides that, in neutral, I wouldn't go for it too much, but when the opponents try to escape the corner, this move really stands out. But yeah, this is mostly a call out move if you want to go for massive rewards. I don't recommend it a ton, but I do think it's very fun for those high big brain call outs. But we'll be getting into our last big anti-air poke, and that'll be Heat Tackle. Now, Heat Tackle is great when used against air stallers. For example, someone like Jacko, someone like Zao, like Bedman as well. Great against these types of characters that want to play to the sky and avoid you. They don't like you, they think you're smelly. So you need to approach them in the greatest way that you can, and that is using your rocket powered fist. Yeah, as they're air stalling, you're able to hit them, get a hard knockdown, and it sets up a free Garuda. But on the positive, if it's blocked now, no matter what, this is one of the changes to Season 4, it will always lead to your turn. At worst you can be is safe, right, where it's like -2. But at maximum, you can be really plus. Like, you could get so plus that it sets up a Garuda. Use it against air stallers, aka they're not in your space, Far Slash doesn't hit them, Heat Knuckle doesn't hit them, 6P will not deny them. But a Heat Tackle, full screen, very committal by the way, so be careful. You whiff this, you are going to get a massive whiff punish done to you. So use it well, use it really well, but besides that, it's great, it's absolutely great. Time to talk about your last thing in neutral, and that is your get-in. When you have meter, Potemkin has some of the best get-ins in the game. His get-ins are very committal when they don't have meter, but as a great read, they can work. But with meter, they become genuinely some of the best neutral tools in the game with how many mindset things that you can do with it. But yeah, let's start with Potemkin's funniest move, the Megafist. Megafist. This tool can be used as a read for low hitting moves like Axel 2H. To help you visualize what the move is supposed to be, you're supposed to visualize this move like it's an instant air dash. Think about it. He jumps up and he goes forward, avoiding a lot of low hitting moves, and he comes in with his own personal jump in, being the Megafist. So I would see this as you're using an instant air dash, right? That's the whole point of Megafist, is that you're jumping forward, going over low hitting tools. You can get anti-aired, but it can be very hard to check in the moment. Again, like an instant air dash. On hit, you do get soft Oki where the opponent's right there. If you're able to learn your Garudas like I taught you, on a normal hit you can set up a Garuda to chase backdash and to keep your pressure. With meter, you can RC this move on block for guaranteed 50-50 pressure, or you can RC it for a combo pickup, which I'll be getting into later. With meter, you can do a quick RC into JP, and that leads into the 50-50 I was talking about earlier. This will lead to close slash or pop buster, and generally you want to use this as a counter poke to projectiles. Doing Kara for Megafist covers so much space, and it's very easy to do this Kara. After you learn your other ones, genuinely you can learn this one in your own time. It's very quick, it's very quick. But yeah, this move on block is a bit committal, and on whiff you are going to get counter hit whiff punished. But on the plus side is that if you're able to get in, use this space well enough, you can generally get some good pressure and you can chip away the opponent. If you carry it from the correct distance, it's very hard to punish. Some characters can't hit it, but they will take their turn. So try and use this as a very solid neutral like get in, and on hit take advantage, with meter take full advantage, and on block, block and pray. Ooh, up next is one of the neutral skips of all time, and that's Hammerfall. Main reason being is with meter is genuinely a monster. But let's get into what you can do without meter, right? And that is the fact that you can do Hammerfall to tank a hit and hit the opponent back for a hard knockdown opportunity, allowing for a Garuda or some type of safe jump. Okay, you want to get in with this tool as the opponent does big gaps, so Hammerfall can be used to call out some really slow neutral tools. For example, if you're fighting in the pop mirror and you see he does Hammerfall, you can react Hammerfall. That's a strategy in the matchup. You see a Foss do 6H into Thrust, you can block the 6H and then Hammerfall the Thrust. But besides that, let me talk about the meter usages, as they're some of the best in the game. And here's another thing for you to practice, and that is your super cancels. With Hammerfall RC, you can do a lot of pressure tools that are guaranteed, but let me talk about the meter first. If you use the meter for Giganter Kai, you can do Hammerfall Break Super. How you do this is on the break, you do the same input as the super that you want to do. And because you can buff the directionals for a long period of time, while doing the Hammerfall to the opponent, do your half circle back, tap forward, and then pick the button with the break. You're pressing break at the same time as the button. Not like the Kara where you do one after the other. You're pressing both these buttons at the same time. So while you're traveling there, do half circle back, tap forwards, or as they say, 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, 6. You press punch and heavy together, or you press punch and slash together. That's how it works. So when you're breaking, you'll get your super, and you'll cancel into Giganter or Heavenly Potemkin Buster. And this is why this move is great, because there's so many mental stack options that you can go for. Run up, essentially you're doing a run up at the super that cannot be messed with because of the armor. So you do Hammerfall Break Super into Giganter to call out people trying to throw your Hammerfalls. You Hammerfall Break into Heavenly to deny people trying to jump your Pop Busters. And you can do Hammerfall Quick PRC to pop bust people trying to just block it out. Hammerfall and block with a delay PRC can lead to a delay close slash which punishes people trying to jump, counter hit, or back throw you, or you do Pop Buster during that gap if you want to be mad enough. You do Hammerfall Quick RC into Garuda, which is completely confirmed if the opponent blocks the Hammerfall, by the way, nothing they can do about it. And you're understanding why Hammerfall is so good, because of the amount of options it offers you. And this is why I think Hammerfall is one of the best neutral skips in the game, despite the fact that something like Johnny Vaultville exists, which does a lot of things with its own right, especially with meter. But I feel like Potemkin gains a lot with meter. He's able to set up a wall, he's able to call you out for jumping, he's able to call you out for blocking, and he's able to call you out for simply wanting to take the pressure. So he's scary, he's genuinely scary. So I recommend learning your super cancels. They're very easy to do. With enough time, anyone can do it, kind of like the Karas. And once you get down these execution things, genuinely, you're good to cook from here. Now, let me talk about the next step about Hammerfall, which makes it a very fun meterless tool, and that's the break. Hammerfall Break is a great get-in tool because it now has armor. So if the opponent does a 2-hitting move, for example something like Johnny 2D, and he doesn't special cancel that, you can break on the second hit and punish him. If you're up against Leo doing quick projectile, you can break on the second hit of it and get a whiff punish. So the break having its own armor, it's a high level play that can lead to some really good reward if done right. But the break is also very quick as well, right? This is another thing that we got as a buff. It breaks insanely quickly. So what you could do is Hammerfall Break during pressure, and let's say the opponent's been respecting you too much, you could do close slash 2S Hammerfall Break and then it'd go into Pop Buster. It can work. It's genuinely worked for me. Against someone like who's high level, these plays work. But yeah, do keep in mind it is still throwable, and keep in mind it is whiff punishable. But even at that, Hammerfall Break can be used as a offensive tool if placed right. But it's a very high level tool, I would say. Try experimenting with this last, but it's very fun. Let's talk about your next get-in being Heat Tackle. Now this move I talked about earlier as a anti-staller, but the main reason why I want to talk about it here is because with meter, it becomes really good. One of the weaknesses of Hammerfall is the fact that you can throw it. You cannot throw this because it's in the air, and it is insanely quick, so you're not air throwing it. It's almost impossible. It's not doable. But what makes it so good is that on block, and if you do an RC, it can lead to a high-low mix because of how quick it is. You're able to do quick PRC into high-low, quick red RC into high-low, and the opponent has to guess between overhead or low, right? You're able to do a faint JS going to Pop Buster, you're able to do 5P, you're able to do JP for a confirmed overhead. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. But the main reason why it's also good is the fact that with RC as well, you're able to get a combo into your own hard knockdown. And it's genuinely really hard to check with meter. That's the main reason why we use it with meter, because it's hard to check. But you use it well enough. With meter, you can do a high-low, you can do close slash, you can do Pop Buster. There's a lot of options that you can go for that can be scary. So be careful using this move without meter, and with meter, go crazy, go bananas, have fun. But let's get into our last neutral tool to use for get-ins, but you gotta be careful with this one. Slide Head is a solid tool for approaching the opponent. If well placed, you can kind of use this as a parry to projectiles or attacks and get your own hard knockdown. And because of the buffs to the Hammerfall Break, you can almost get Oki from anywhere besides full screen. So if the opponent is at full screen trying to get their resources, for example like Aska Mana or Happy Chaos like Focus, you're able to slide ahead, get a hard knockdown, and then approach from there. That's if you use it preemptively though, because one of the problems with this move is that it comes out in 28 frames, meaning it's very reactable to a whiff punish. So if the opponent is waiting, they will whiff punish you. If you see they're walking back and forth in neutral, that tells you they're waiting for something, being your slide head or your hammer fall. You give them that, they will whiff punish it. Because of the counter hit recovery now, they're generally going to jump in, they're going to do a ton of damage, and you're going to face a hard knockdown in the corner. So be careful when using slide head, but besides that, it is a very good neutral tool to use. I forgot how long this guide is, not gonna lie. This guide is massive. This guide is massive. But up next is the offensive part. You want to know good pressure, you're going to learn all about it as I teach you about your offensive mindset first. You've got to learn the mindset to do the offense. And so the main thing that you need to know about your offensive mindset is one thing and one thing only, and that is the fact that you're trying to set up Potemkin Buster. Everything you do leads to Potemkin Buster, and that's what you want to get your opponent to respect. You need to get this in their head, make them think about it every time they try to defend against you. Potemkin Buster should always be in the back of their minds. So keep that in mind. When you're setting up pressure, 5p to Pop Buster, Garuda into Pop Buster, nothing into Pop Buster, jump into Pop Buster, fake jump into the Pop Buster. Get it in their heads. They need to know that you're the grappler, right? So that is one thing. You need to condition them into the Pop Buster. That way you can set up your strike mix. And that way you mix up between them, going back and forth between them. So that is one thing going in your offensive mindset. The brain needs to be thinking about that move. And then when they stop thinking about that move, that's when you threaten that move. And then it keeps cycling. It keeps cycling. It's a never-ending cycle of telling the opponent what they need to fear, and then reminding them of what they need to fear. But yeah, let's talk about the main thing that you need to know for Potemkin Buster, and that is, it's not that guaranteed. Of course, a grappler's game is always a 50-50, but it becomes even less so in a game like Guilty Gear, which has a large throw protection window. What does this mean? Well, that means on frame 1 to 4, the opponent can do blocking and then backdash on the 5th frame. They will block your attack, and on the 5th frame where you can do a throw, they will backdash it. Yes, this is a great defensive technique. This is kind of like doing peekaboo in boxing. What this allows you to do is block your head and block your gut very easily, and essentially your defense kind of becomes autoplay in a way. And that is what fuzzy backdash is. You've just been taught what a fuzzy is. Fuzzies can be learned, hard to learn in a fighting game. They almost make no sense when you hear what a fuzzy is. But after much research and understanding, I get it now. Essentially what fuzzies is covering multiple defensive options or offensive options with one play. And with Potemkin, you have to worry about this. Because doing close slash, the opponent can block your 2S from the frames 1 to 4 and then backdash on frame 5 to avoid the Pop Buster, because that is the only time you can do a Pop Buster. That's why you'll see people do FD from frames 1 to 4 and then backdash. It's a great defensive tool that'll avoid throw and avoid strike. So how does Potemkin deal with this? Well, you have to do it for delayed offense, if you want to call it the backdash. And then you can actually let them get conditioned to be like, oh, okay, fuzzy's not working, I'm going to stop fuzzying. Right? Then you take them to layer 2 offense. But there's one thing that also allows you to deny all this, and that is Garuda. Now, this is why I've been telling you try and set up Garuda. Because Garuda negates those 1 to 4 frames of throw protection, meaning when it's blocked, they'll be grabbed on frame 1 as soon as it's available. Meaning, if you do a Garuda, the opponent has a true 50-50 they have to block with either walk up 5k or walk up Pop Buster. They both come out in the same frames. One is a low and one is a Pop Buster. One is a command grab. And what this does is that it causes the opponent go like, okay, I need to take a true 50-50, right? And that's the beauty of Garuda. You don't have to call out fuzzy, you don't have to call out a fuzzy jump, you just have to call out backdash and jump or blocking. And that is why we're learning how to use Garuda as a 50-50 tool to actually get your offense. So that's the offensive mindset. You either send a Pot Buster or a Garuda. But you need to recognize when your opponent's fuzzy. You can't just do plays. You need to recognize it. In terms of dealing with your offensive mindset, that's everything that you need to be thinking about when running your offense. But we'll get started with your first main offensive tool being close slash. Close slash is your main pressure star. The main reason being is that it's +4 and it's great because it's good for setting up frame traps. You want to aim to beat jump and backdash when doing strike. 2S is a great call out after close slash. You have to delay it though. However, delay backdash will be 2S, but jump will get caught, either bring them back down to earth or allowing you to get a pickup into Garuda, into 5k, into 6H for the wall break. 5H is great for calling out jump and backdash as well after close slash, as it leads to a hard knockdown in the corner. It's very great. And 2D is great against the fuzzies that I was talking about earlier. If you need an option that beats fuzzy backdash or fuzzy jump, delay 2D will beat every option afterwards. It's genuinely really good, and if they mash, that's a counter hit for a hammerfall hard knockdown. Delay 2D is also a really good option in terms of your pressure, and these call out your jump and backdashes. These are the tools that you want to use for that. As I told you, you need to keep in mind.
For close slash, you can also go for JS into JH, which is a nice double overhead string that you can stagger into Pot Buster immediately afterwards, or get a combo if you catch something like a backdash, as it puts them in an aerial state.
But yeah, one thing that you can do after close slash is Garuda. It is very fake. The opponent can jump it and get whip punish, but if you want to check the opponent's mental stack to see where they're at, if they're blocking Garuda, they are blocking a Pot Buster after close slash. So that's something to keep in mind. Garuda's a really good check tool because of that. After close slash, if you want a call out tool for both counter hit and backdash, 6H is the tool, as you'll get a massive combo if the wall is there, leading to a wall bounce. You can do Heat Knuckle afterwards to keep it simple. And on counter hit, you do get a massive reward, Hammerfall Break, 5k, 6H. Talk about the combos later. You get a lot off of counter hit 6H. And with Hammerfall Break after 6H, you can also get Oki as well on a normal hit, if you just want to run that. So it does just make sense. It does make sense. Delay 2H is really good for calling out backdash in the corner if the opponent hasn't FD'd you. It's also really good for calling out jump and bringing back down to earth and you block a guaranteed Garuda. So 2H can be a great tool as well, so you can go for that if you really feel like it. But I would say this move's a bit committal and you're looking for specific plays. 5H, 2S and Garuda are great tools after close slash. You can also go for Pot Buster after close slash as well if you think the opponent has been blocking up too much. But that's how you want to use close slash and pressure, because Pot's offense is kind of limited in where you can go. Garuda pressure. Now, in Garuda pressure, like I said, it's 50-50, Pot Buster 5k, can't make it any more simpler, but I recommend learning how to do walk up Pot Buster, as mentioned before, because what this does, it allows you to do an auto-timed Pot Buster with an auto-timed 5k. The walk up carry Pot Buster comes out in the same frames as walk up 5k, meaning it's a strike throw 50-50, there's no fuzzy, there's no nothing they can do, right? It comes out in the exact same frame and it catches them perfectly, so learn that. Do learn how to do the walk forward. But if the opponent backdashes after 5k, you can hit confirm into Giganter Kai. I find this difficult, but I know some that can do this almost every time. You can do 5k into 2D for a hard knockdown on a normal hit or a jump hit, and this allows you to run an Oki. It's very good. And you can keep doing Garuda if you have the meter, because the opponent has to respect it. The main reason why is if they jump, you RC, bring them back down to earth. And if they try to approach, you RC into close slash, keep them in the corner. And if they try to do anything funny, you can feint the Garuda, do Pot Buster. You can just kind of keep doing Garuda if you have meter. And the other thing is, it does beat DP if it's spaced out, so that's another great thing about Garuda pressure. So set up the 50-50, space out the DPs, and go for cheeky offense. You can feint it, go crazy and all that. There's a lot of nasty pressure you can do in the corner, especially after a close slash OTG. But yeah, up next is Patriarch Megafist. This is a great pressure tool, and the main reason for that is because it's a very avoidable move. It avoids a ton of plays that the opponent can go for, and it's +1 on block. Yes, that's right, Patriarch Megafist is then plus on block, so you're avoiding attacks and coming back in with +1. And if it's hitting, you're getting a hard knockdown, which is great. You set up a Garuda. And if you get a counter hit, you get a pickup. Pickup in the corner that should lead to a big combo. And if you land at mid-screen with a counter hit, you can get a hard knockdown yet again. So it's a really good tool. It's an insanely good tool. 4/5H is always confirmed after a counter hit on this tool. But yeah, the other thing you could do with this is that after a throw attempt or some type of Oki attempt, you could do Hammerfall Break into Back Megafist, meaning that you can set this up as a meaty tool that becomes extremely plus, and it can be very hard for your opponent to challenge, and you can set up an all-time Pot Buster. On block with this tool, this is where the pressure comes in. You can go for Close Slash to deny any form of jump out. You can go for 5P to deny any form of mash out. You can go for Pot Buster to deny any form of mash out, or any form of like just blocking up. So that's really good. You have really good 50-50s afterwards. Opponent can still fuzzy, but you know, you can still go for these options. I do think Back is really good on offense. Recommend trying to use it after Close Slash, like mentioned before. And then you can kind of set up weird pressure where the opponent has to respect that. Up next is Giganter Pressure. Now there's the Tick Buster that everybody knows about. I'll be honest, it's very gimmicky. It doesn't work that well. Literally, if the opponent jumps you with Pot Buster, you're not getting any reward. That is what it is. This is very common. But what I recommend using this for is the fact that it has really good high-low potential. If the opponent blocks it, they're forced into a high-low state where they have to respect it. I recommend doing 2K2D and tap 5D during the wall. And then if you don't want to go for that, let's say you think the 50-50 isn't worth it, you do Back Megafist into Close Slash Delay Garuda, and just like that you get an all-time Garuda, leads to 50-50, and if the opponent gave up a lot of their FD, you don't need to worry about that, so that's the plus side. And if the opponent didn't, well, you've just done a ton of chip damage. So that's another positive of the cell. But yeah, if you want a really safe high-low mix, 2D or 5D is literally the way to go. You get a pick up in the corner, and you break the wall for a hard knockdown. Genuinely, very safe pressure tool. Very, very safe pressure tool to go for. Let's get into one of the newer tools that Potemkin got for pressure, and that is Blue Wild Assault. Yes, that's right, Blue Wild Assault. This tool is so fun. I think this is the greatest thing that Pot ever got in terms of fun offense. I genuinely love this tool. Every time I use it, I'm in love. I'm being genuine. But it's a great addition for the arsenal of Potemkin. Main reason why is that it's a plus on block guard crush after any normal that it reaches from. You do 5H into Blue Wild Assault in certain distances, that's guaranteed pressure. If the opponent doesn't throw it, that's guaranteed pressure. And it's very hard to check a Blue Wild Assault. It's very difficult, but it is doable. This is one of Potemkin's best situations. Main reason why, A, is that you can go for a Pot Buster after a Hammerfall Break, because a Hammerfall Break sets up an all-time Pot Buster. It also leads into an all-timed Pot Buster on hit as well. Keep that in mind. The main reason as well is that you go for another frame trap, go for Garuda, so you can set up two, go crazy, delay the Garuda, you'll catch them. And in terms of offense, this is a really good hit confirm tool. You land a Close Slash to 5H, you can always hit confirm this into a Pot Buster for a hard knockdown. You go crazy with Garuda if you feel like it. A lot of pots don't recommend it, simply just due to the fact that it leads to less damage, and Hammerfall Break leads to the exact same situation. But I don't know, I kind of recommend it because it's simple. Like, the brain doesn't even think about it. You go 5H to Blue Wild Assault Garuda, and then that's you do Pot Buster. But Hammerfall Break is also just really good to go for as well if you want to just have that. I recommend that. And the offense is just really good. It's really good. You can set up so much, and because you get 2 bars of it, you can keep doing it. And the meter gain is ridiculous, genuinely. If you get Blue Wild Assault, you're able to set up pressure. You're just going to see that meter go dun, 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 and just chunk up. It is insane. But yeah, Blue Wild Assault. Easy combo tool, easy hit confirm tool, easy pressure tool. Use it in very fun manners, and I'll teach you some combos about it later. But let's get into the next part in your offense, and it's very important to learn your Oki. So for your Oki, I'm just going to tell you the tools that you want to use simply from the tools that I've explained to you earlier. And if you're close, one of your main Oki tools that you want to go for every time is the Garuda. Without a doubt, there's no denying it. Garuda's insanely good. On a 2D knockdown, you can go for Garuda every time. On a 5H knockdown near the corner, you can go for it every time. And if you get a slide head pretty up close, easy Garuda. Another great Oki situation is if you have the opponent in the corner after a pot bust opportunity, you could do close slash into Kara Garuda. Why are we doing Kara Garuda, you may ask? And that is because of one reason, and one reason alone. You can backdash the normal Garuda, but you cannot backdash the Kara Garuda, and it still frame traps a throw. Meaning that you can do close slash Kara Garuda, and you've got great plus frames, you've got them trapped in the corner, but you do miss out on double Garuda. Because after close slash you can do Garuda to Garuda, and they're both confirmed, but if you do close slash Kara Garuda, you beat a lot of options and you still get your 50-50. But yeah, close slash OTG is really good in any form of hard knockdown situation. It leads to any form of Kara Garuda. Keep them in the corner, keep them locked in. But the other thing that you can also do as a meaty tool, if you're far away, you won't be able to get Garuda, it's impossible. But you can go for meaty 5p, as it's very safe. It's a counter hit poke that'll lead to close slash 2D, hard knockdown. And if the opponent blocks it, it is still a buster opportunity. And it is plus on block, so you can go 5p into 2k 2D. It's really good. It's a really good tool to go for 5p if you're far away. And if you land a pot buster from mid screen, you can do Kara Hammerfall Break for a guaranteed 5p or close slash. So that's what I recommend going for. I do recommend going for the close slash or the 5p after a pot buster on mid screen, and in the corner do close slash OTG and to the Kara Garuda. But the other thing that you can go for, if you need active frames and you don't believe in that close slash ever on Oki or 5p ever on that Oki, you can go for 5k instead. Main reason being is that it's active for 14 frames, meaning you'll catch any form of jump out, any form of backdash, and if they block it, you can go for 2D into flick, keep yourself safe, or you can do 2D into Garuda, go a bit greedy, and you get the pressure that you want. In terms of Oki, close slash and Garuda are really good. Let's talk about your safe jumps and your safe jabs. Like mentioned before, doing Hammerfall Break 5p is a really good safe jab against Wake Up Super. One thing that you can also go for in terms of safe jumping after a hitting 2D or a Hammerfall, you could do whiff 5p into jumping JP, whiff, be sure to whiff these two, and be sure to be frame perfect, into landing JH. And what this does is that it avoids every form of Wake Up Super, every form of Wake Up DP, you'll block it, and you'll be able to get a free punish that leads to 90% because Potemkin does a ton of damage on counter hit against a blocked DP. And if the JH is blocked, it also leads to guaranteed offense. So if you land that JH on block or on hit, be sure to combo it, be sure to confirm your pressure. And if the opponent decides DP, be sure to block it, be sure to punish it, take your offense. Safe jabs allow you to cover multiple options before, kind of like a fuzzy, except this is what we call an option select. What this means is that you're able to pick an option depending on the situation in the moment, very quickly as well. So for example, if we're doing a safe jump, it allows us to pick between two options, which is continue pressure if blocked, and if we have to block a DP, get a counter hit confirm. Again, what you're doing is kind of like you're programming, right? You know, if statements where it's like, if something happens, do this. That's what you're doing with these JHs. That's what an option select is. It's like you're jumping in and then going like, if that happens, do that. And if that happens, do that. But besides that, I'm safe to kind of just like block it out and see what happens. I'm safe to just jump in, see what happens, and then react to it. That's an option select. That's what an option select is. And that is everything that you kind of need to know for hard knockdowns, for your safe jumps, and for your safe jabs. And that's everything that you need for offense. So we're going to get into the next step now, which is your defense. Okay, defense is a very hard topic to cover, and I want you guys to keep in mind, defense is very subjective in fighting games. There is no catch-all answer to everything unless it's fast J2K, you do 5p whiff into flick as Potemkin, you beat every option. That's it. Very rarely does this golden opportunity come up into a fighting game where you have the answers to everything, right? Against slower matchups, you can just react. Again, fast 6H into cross, you can hammerfall it. I think we're starting to see a problem with fun, but when it comes to this game, it's all about your knowledge. As I've represented to you just there, because I know the fast matchup, these are defensive tools that you can do to win. But it's not all cut and dry. When it comes to defense, you need to have the knowledge, and sometimes the knowledge isn't enough, and you need to bet on a play, and sometimes you may need to go for fuzzy defense, sometimes you may need to go for a jump out, sometimes you may need to go for a mash out. it calls for the moment. And so when I'm telling you defensive options, I'm not saying do this every time. I'm telling you these are things to consider. Okay? So again, I'm giving you the recipe. Well, I'm giving you the ingredients. You need to pick your recipe for the moment. So it's all about labbing the game out, finding out what you can defend against, and what you can do to defend against it. So that's what these this is what these tools are going to tell you, right? This is what these tools are going to tell you how to defend, but they're not going to tell you wherever you can do it. There's just times where you can do it, and that is it. So I want you to keep this in mind. Defense is very subjective in fighting games. It's not that easy. But let's get started with the mash tools. So the mash tools are very quick tools. They come out in 5 frames. They're very low committal, but they'll get you out of situations. What do I mean by low committal? In terms of whiffing them, it's no big deal. And in terms of getting them on block, it's also no big deal. And if the opponent tries to jump them, it's also no big deal. If the opponent counter hits you, it's a big deal. But it will be the same for any of your defensive tools. But where they stand out is just the fact that they're quick. To get started, let's talk about 5P, and that is a mash shout that will get you out of a lot of situations. It comes out very quickly, you're able to knock them back, and you're able to do 2 5Ps, and that'll lead to some decent damage, right? You do 2 5Ps, that's like 10%, you push them back, and he can walk forward a little bit. You can also do 5P into close slash on a counter hit confirm. That's something I like to do on block anyway. You get /5H, which we'll call out backdash. But it's something I like to do. 5P into close slash, 5P into far slash. The opponent doesn't really challenge it, and you'll only really lose to 2k. Because it whiffs it, and then you get hit for it. But when the gap is 7 frames and bigger, I recommend going for 2k, because it's a low. A low hitting mash tool is really good. And it comes out in 7 frames. You'll hit the opponent with a low, and you'll get a hard knockdown as well, because all the Ks lead to 2D. You mostly want to try use your 2K on things close slash into close slash. If you recognize your opponent's been doing that a lot, 2K beats it if you instantly press 2K. So if you're not fuzzy defending, and you go for a raw defensive play, 2K will beat a close slash into close slash, especially on characters like Faust or Axel, where it's very easy to do that. Or when your opponent's going for something greedy, these mash tools can be very useful. For example, if Pot's going for Garuda, you're fighting Potemkin does Garuda, 2K might help here, 2S might help here, jump out will help here. Those are defensive tools that you can go for. The next one is your armor defensive tools. Now these are very effective during 5 frame gaps, 7 frame gaps, all that stuff. 5 frame and bigger, they're very effective. Why? Because the reward is very good. You want to pick this up for either reach purposes or your reward. Slide Head and Hammerfall allow for this, giving Oki and enough for Garuda pressure up close without meter. And with meter, you're able to set up pressure and escape the corner and just kind of like get out of the corner situation. You just want out of there. You want out of there as Potemkin. And doing a Hammerfall into red RC leads to your own pressure, guaranteed Garuda, only needs to take a 50-50. You land a Pop Buster, you're back to mid screen. You land a close slash, you're back to mid screen, and you don't gotta hold the corner anymore. With the Slide Head though, it's a longer start. The armor still comes out in 5 frames, but the move comes out in 28 frames, meaning if the Slide Head doesn't help on hit, and the opponent jumps it, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But on the plus side is plus 10 on block, meaning that you do a 5H call out a jump, or White Wild Assault, or anything like that. So doing Slide Head is 5H. Great call out for really aggressive tools. You'll still lose to a 6P though, but you'll still keep them in check with a 5H or 2D. But you can also use your meter after tanking a hit. Yeah, you can do Hammerfall, and if you notice you've been hit, there's a bit of slowdown in the game, where there's the red circle around your body. With the slowdown, you can do PRC into close slash, PRC into Pop Buster. Point being, you can tank a hit, RC, and then hit back. So that's another play that you can go for. You gotta know your gaps. You can't just be doing this. That's why I'm telling you. Really lab out these tools. Don't just go like, I have Hammerfall. Well, use Hammerfall, because you'll get counter hit every time. The last defensive tool I'm going to talk about is Fuzzy Buster. Now, you're probably wondering what that means. And I'm going to be real, it's very confusing. So what that means is being able to do the fuzzy options. Remember we talked about earlier doing a fuzzy backdash. Well, you're going to want to learn this, like I mentioned earlier. Block from 1 to 4 frames, backdash, block to 1 to 4 frames, jump. A fuzzy buster is where you do a 360 input after blocking a move, right? You do, I think it's a 3 to 6 to 8 to 4 to 1, blocking back on the numpad. and you do that after blocking a move, and what that'll do is that you'll down back, you'll block anything, and then on the 5th frame, like I mentioned before, instead of doing backdash, you press punch. And what that'll do is that you'll do a Potemkin Buster on anything extremely fake, and you'll block anything extremely real. And it's very powerful because Pot Buster has armor. So if it's fake enough to hit Pot from a certain point, it's not going to be that fake because you're just going to kill them for it. Powerful defensive tool, and I recommend people learn how to use it, but it's all about learning when to use it. Remember what I talked about? There's a lot in this game to learn. There's a ton in this game to learn in terms of defense. It's not that easy, it's not that cut and dry. So again, I recommend learning this, but really putting your heart and soul into it. Up next are the combos that you have to learn when playing Potemkin, and I'm just going to let the video play out from here. I'm not going to speak or nothing. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the combos, and again, I will say this before we get into it, I'm not a combo master. These are just basic combos that I do because they're easy to do, really good in tournament. Some of them are high damage, not a lot of them, but if you really want to do optimal combos, I recommend looking up anything DS Bro has done. But in my case, these are simple combos, really easy to learn. Can't drop them in a tournament, and they're really helpful.
They struggle testify. Just in brief for councils, disappointed.
But yeah, fellas, that'll be the end of the guide. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to go into the deeper delves of deeper and harder tech to do, I recommend joining the Parkour. The link will be in the description. All the notations will be in the description for every part, the combos and stuff like that. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to let me know. And if you want to help me boost this for the algorithm, you can literally type algorithm if you have nothing to say about the guide. And if you want to go deeper, again, join the Discords and stuff like that. But yeah, peace out, fellas. Hope you guys have a good one. I might do a future video on matchups, but I want to talk about the current patch of Strive right now. That's what's going through my mind. But peace out, everybody. Hope everyone has a good one. Salute, brothers.